Welcome back. We're back right here in the studios of Joy News, and we're excited to have you. Now, the discussions we're about to have, we'd love to hear from you on. And we're going to be talking about matters germane to our national life, topical matters, including, but not restricted to, 1, the Ministerial Reshuffle, what it means, and what in your estimation, it will do. Will it have any impact at all? That's one thing we're going to be contemplating. Another matter on the chopping board, Dr. Appiah and everything he's outlined so far. But is there any hope in what he said? Does his message carry weight? Does it carry water? The minority does not think so. They feel it's still the old that is being repackaged, nothing new. We get into those all-important discussions with Member of Parliament for Anyasotuum, Dr. Dixon Adomako Kissi. We also have Cletus Dapila, who is Member of Parliament for Drapa. He joins the conversation as well. Gentlemen, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good
morning, Doc. Good to have you.
Happy New Year. We haven't met since the New Year.
No, we've not. And even on the show, it's been... you've not been on this year, have you?
Since this year, yeah.
Yes. As for Doc, we get on from time to time, and he's had his time on AM exclusive. As I always do, I'd like to start from your constituencies, and today will be none too different. Doc, I'll start with you. Your delegates decided not to return you to Parliament, but I am fully aware of some of the wonderful things you've done in your community. But hey, I'm not a constituent and I'm not a delegate. Sir John famously said, "Fear delegates." How is Anyasotuum like? And especially, I'd like to know, you are left with a few months in this 8th Parliament, and then you have to hang your boots, and you say you are supporting the next candidate. Is it Mr. Tobin? Emmanuel Tobin, to get into Parliament. But what are you going to be doing between now and the end of your tenure? So just give me briefly the state of your constituency and what your plan is.
So the very first thing, let me take this opportunity to re-wish my mother a happy Vows Day, and very importantly, praying that she blossoms and blossoms and blossoms, even in her old age.
Amen.
She's doing fantastic. So, Mama Kissi, and then my wife and kids to a happy Valentine's Day. I think with regards to my constituency, key on the list of things is to still push for development, and that will not stop, whether in Parliament or outside Parliament. I think there's something I've been doing for a long time because I'm a resident of the constituency. So that won't stop. And then more importantly, strengthen my relations with both opinion leaders and people who matter within the constituency. I have to continue, and also focus a bit more on private enterprise, be it health or other projects that I'm looking to do within the constituency. But one thing is key. I won't stop communicating, and that is why I'm here today, to still carry on with reaching out to Ghanaians and helping them understand government's policies, and then reaching out to Ghanaians to help them also make known to government what their issues are. So those are the two things that I think I'll still continue to do. And who knows, maybe Joy News might employ me someday. and I think that most of us who are not returning will still have to support the party and ultimately help us.
It's not even an option, is it?
It shouldn't be.
It's not an option. It's something that you must do. But I do know that in some instances there is bad blood because of the nature of how some people were ousted. And you do agree that, I mean, the last time I had an interaction with you, you made mention of the fact that, yes, you felt as though there were powers somewhere, undercurrents that wanted you out. Yeah. And I mean, you, one person, you wanted Ken Ofori-Atta out. I'll get to that. You wanted Ken Ofori-Atta out. Then. So now you didn't want him out. And then what was the other bit?
I supported Alan earlier.
You supported Alan Tremartin.
Yeah. And
Alan has now gone to another place. He's with the Afafronto movement. And was there another bit?
I think that's about it.
And supposedly there was some sponsoring of candidates against you, money from everywhere. We've even heard of some member of parliament who used to be in the area you are, who did some,
Well, I can say that, to some extent, former member of parliament was not 100% in support of my candidature.
Are you referring to Mavis Hawakumsin or which one?
No. I have a foreign affairs minister.
Shali Ayoko Botre?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. She wasn't in support?
Not 100% in support.
Not 100% in support. So the factors were many. And I guess in the end...
That's life. So I mean...
Is it also that... I've heard a few things. I say honorable in Tia.
Well, let me maybe help people understand this. I had a delegate pool of 1,500. Some other places had 400 or less than 500. So, I mean, looking at the fact that when you are in government, we all receive the same quote-unquote salary. If I'm sharing my salary amongst 1,500 people as compared to somebody sharing across 400 people. If you compare my constituency to theirs, you'd say that I'm not doing well. But literally, if you look at the quantum, then you'd realize that sometimes we even go overboard in terms of the quantum that we share. And quote unquote, if I was even attending to just 1,200 of my constituency, quote unquote, delegates out of the 1,500, that is still a heavy number. So sometimes...
But we've had people tell us, and I'm not talking to you about hearsay, I'm talking to you about what some of your colleagues told us, and the millions they spent, even on election day. And of course, I can't mention, for the sake of confidentiality, I can't mention those names. But why you don't get the millions of?
No.
You don't get the millions to share because the delegates right now they say no money, no vote.
It's unfortunate, and it's actually trickling down to, and I think that this main election might also suffer the consequences of this because getting out people to vote might lead to people asking also for an arm and a leg. I mean, because of what happened during our election. But I'm hoping that, that won't influence people in terms of turnout in the December election. But very important, and this maybe the NCC might help us in the future. I really think that this trajectory of using a lot of money for power or for positions won't be in the best interest of the country. What I mean is that well-meaning Ghanaians with competence, without lots of quote-unquote monies, will not be at the helm of affairs in terms of politics. And I've always been pushing that we need more professionals in politics, and professionals might not necessarily have that kind of wealth to get into politics to help with the accounting bit, the carpentry experience bit in terms of construction of buildings. I mean, all the other various professions in this country. And I think that might worry us in the sense that if everything becomes the highest bid, then our politicking in this country will suffer. And there should be room for those who have nothing to do politics. And what I mean nothing is at least something, but those who have if it becomes just then eventually, excuse me to say, that the barons of the drug world will just then come and take over our country.
Okay.
Because some of them, that I know of in other jurisdictions, like the Mexicos, have heavy money. So I worry that Ghana stands to lose on very talented people, very skilled people, if we fail to allow in our body politics people who might not necessarily have heavy money to do politics for us. And politics, I know it's sika kakra, nimdia kakra, and the love for the people, but if we make it lopsided to just money, then we'll have, the content in Parliament will be so bad.
All right.
And what I mean content is that the kind of arguments that will be made in Parliament for the people, the ordinary people, will suffer. Because if you don't have ordinary men in Parliament, then who would be looking out for the ordinary people in the country by virtue of, the way it has been set up. But thanks for this question. I'm trying to shy away from the elections as much as possible, but you guys just keep going there. So greetings to Anyanso Tom. Happy vows to all those who's been a big fan of Dr. Adomako Kissi.
Right.
And you asked also one key thing, that what I be doing. I'm also looking, let me use this opportunity to create a platform for networking within my constituency. So it will be like an artisan professionals networking where we'll be meeting maybe every first Friday of the month by way of being able to connect with people and still maintain influence and help people get jobs through that. So,
right.
So that's another thing that I'm looking to do.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. I'll come back to you on something interesting, but let me come to you, Cletus, as well. Even as I talk about your constituency, I know in recent times, heartbreaking incident. You've heard of the issue, Eric, the owner of Royal Cozy Hills Hotel, popularly known as Drapa Dubai.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was shocked to the marrow when I heard of that incident. And people have said, look, you have a man coming through with such a mindset to make this community, this area, which doesn't necessarily have too many of these, buoyant, economically strong, and all of a sudden this happens. What signal does that send? Let me start with you. You are a member of parliament for that constituency. Before you even tell me about other developments in your constituency.
Well, good morning to your good self. Good morning to my brother and a good friend. And
you're good friends, sir.
Your distinguished viewers.
I want clarity on that. You're good friends.
Oh, we are good friends.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's always good to know.
We are also on the foreign
It's always
affairs
good to know
committee.
when
The Foreign Affairs Committee is my vice chairman. Let me come back to the issue. I'm not a happy man, and just like many people who have heard of the demise or gruesome murder of Mr. Eric Johnson in the early hours of, do I say Saturday or Sunday? Well, the news was brought to us on Sunday dawn, and I don't even know how to start it, but we are, I don't know. It's something that we still cannot believe that it happened, but it has happened.
You're still reeling from the shock.
Yeah, Eric is being murdered, and that is unfortunate incident. It's a whole, let me say, a shame. It's a shame to the entire Upper West, Jirapa, and Ghana as a whole.
Right.
This is a multinational businessman. Eric has been in business since 1988. The Royal Cozy Hills is a subsidiary of his mother company by name Intermec Ghana Limited.
Okay.
Intermec is his mother company that is into water. It's an expert in water.
Okay.
He has a very good record in Ghana water most of the Ghana water, their pipelines and heavy machines is being done by Intermec. Intermec they have their mother company in Germany where he's the agent in Africa and all of them. So he's been doing a lot in the quiet for quite some time now. Bro, it's unfortunate that such an illustrious son life will have to be wasted in this manner. But we live in a society where people are wicked, some are wicked, some are good, so you just cannot tell. Yeah. That is the kind of society in which we find ourselves. But let's all think and ponder over it, whether this is the tangent to go, even if somebody erred or wronged you. Because when preliminary investigation shows that it was like a contract killing. They just entered to murder him, nothing more, nothing less. That is what they did to Eric. And when you look at the pictures, you realize that my friend, my brother, really suffered before he died. I think every blood in Eric poured out before he died because he was stabbed multiple times. Every part of his body was stabbed to the extent that his intestines even came out. So that is the level.
His entrails came out. Did you get to see, or were you told?
Well, I have some pictures and videos I cannot share.
Obviously not.
Yeah, because
obviously not.
But that is how it happened. The whole room, his bedroom, was soaked with blood. I said every blood in the man poured out. So I will use this, your medium, to also appeal to the media that there have been misreportage about where he died. Okay. Eric didn't die in the hotel. Eric died because the report has been that he died in his hotel room. That is not the case. Eric does not live in the hotel. Yeah, he lives in his residence.
Rafiq Salam told us.
Yes.
Yeah,
so it's just residence. To put it out there that those media journalist people, they should get their facts right before because what they are doing, they just want to create fear and panic for people not to go to the hotel, and that will not be good.
I don't want to think intentionally, anyone. It may be about the information they may have got, but from our end, I know right from the start, Rafiq Salam, Upper West Regional.
Well, Rafiq knows very well.
Rafiq in 2017, right from the start.
Rafiq in 2017, including some other journalists, were people that I took them to Jirapa. That was when we commissioned Jirapa Dubai in 2017. Rafiq knows that the stories are all out there. You know, so I just want to put it out there that Mr. Johnson did not die in the hotel room. He doesn't live in the hotel. He has his own residence close to the hotel where he lives. Yeah. So the residence where he lives is different from the hotel. I just want to put out this reportage, whether it's intentionally or not, but it's a fact. So let me use this opportunity to express my sincere condolences to his 3 daughters, all the staff of Intermec and Royal Cozy Hills. We are grieving. We've lost our director, we lost our MD, we lost our son, we lost our husband, our brother, everything. Let me also appeal to the youth and the good people of Jirapa that they should remain resolute and calm, understand they will be protesting tomorrow, Friday, to drum home government support in investigating this matter. I support them in that direction, but they should do it and with respect to the law, because the law enforcement agencies are on top of the job. They are doing serious investigation. National Security, the IGP, God bless him, he dispatched serious forensic.
The IGP was there himself at the point, from what we hear.
He dispatched a group of experts, the military intelligence unit. Everybody is there, gathering information and helping in the investigations. So we hope by the end of the day, or at the end of the investigations, the culprits, those that killed or murdered our brother, our son, Mr. Eric Johnson, will be brought to book. For me, I just pray and hope that the culprits should be apprehended so that we know the reason why they murdered such an illustrious son. We just have to know the reason, that's all. If we know the reason, it will clear doubts it will clear speculations, whether it's internal, it's external, it's business, it's whatever. So many speculations are ongoing.
And so many people have also been, invited, some apprehended by the police for investigations, including staff of the Royal Cozy Hills.
Royal Cozy Hills.
Right.
Because the investigators noticed that maybe the place was not broken into. No window was broken, no door was broken.
I mean, we've been told of how this was
people had access. So they are looking at those who are close to him, those who have access to the place and all of that. So by and large, that's what happened to Mr. Eric.
What is the state, in a minute, what is the state of Jirapa now? Yes, so the life of your constituents.
Jirapa looks like a cemetery. You see, I don't even want to talk about Jirapa because all I can say is what I have just said about Jirapa.
Right.
There are issues of development, politics, and all of it. We'll discuss it later. Because if you go to Jirapa now, it looks like a cemetery. Everybody is moody. Everybody is sad. Everybody is crying. Everybody is mourning. Nobody is happy in Jirapa. So that is the situation of Jirapa as of now. And not just Jirapa, people across the world are calling and finding out whether it's actually true. Ghanaians so far in Parliament, my colleagues, the calls I have received from people asking what really happened. I wasn't there, nobody was there, but this is the news that they broke to all of us. So I will just say that Jirapa is mourning, Upper West is mourning, the entire Northern Ghana is mourning, particularly when you get to Royal Cozy Hills. In fact, what Eric didn't live to see, that I am in pain, is the fact that the idea wasn't about a resort or a hotel. He came to establish a factory to create jobs for the youth. So he came to establish a water factory, a huge water factory, bottling water. He went to search for market in Niger, Dubai, and to be supplying certain parts of this country. They did the test run or test production just last week. They were to start production this week. So he wanted to witness that production before he travels back to the UK for review. He's also been not well. So he was going back to the UK for review. Eric did not see all of this. But that is how it is. That is what destiny or probably God says. This is how Eric will end. Otherwise, it shouldn't have been. So that is the reason. So when he got to Jirapa, then he noticed that in the entire of Upper West, there is no such decent hotel that can attract tourists, that can... So he wanted
Many of them are down south.
Yeah, he wanted to open up the entire Upper West to the rest of the world. So he decided to invest in the hotel business. So that is how the issue,
it is so unfortunate,
came about. So the idea wasn't about the hotel, but he just at a point decided that let me do something that can connect the Upper West to the entire world, that can let people, our area, people say Upper West is far, the place is far. So he needed to do something that will attract people, tourists, and many people to come. And it was actually picking up. My worry is that he has, even on Thursday he spoke to me, Friday he spoke to me.
That was the Thursday and Friday before Sunday when he was murdered.
Before Saturday midnight he was murdered.
Right.
And all his complaint has been that the facility as of now cannot generate to pay the staff. So it's his other businesses that support to sustain the place for now. But he has a dream, he has a goal. He says that, look, I will have to be doing all of this so that the place at a point in time will be better, where it can be self-sufficient. So that is what he's been doing. So since he started Operation Royal Cozy Hills, he's not made a profit. He has never made any profit. It's about other businesses, other monies he brings to come and even pay the workers. Because when you go there, he has over close to 300 workers that works there. Close to 300 workers. you know.
And while we have to, I mean, it's so heartbreaking, right? Because now you ask yourself, usually in our part of the world, sometimes, because of systems that may not necessarily be there, you ask yourself, what happens to, I hear he has children, yes,
Yeah,
but
he has children.
what
He has
happens
3 daughters.
to the outfits now? What happens to Japa Dubai? What, you know, the dream versus, and now he's gone too soon. But may he find peace with the Lord. The way you even describe his murder, gruesome. You wouldn't want to wish that on your worst enemy. You know, there are some things, no matter, a human being is a human being. And whoever did this, I don't know how they can sleep at night. You know, I don't know.
We live with a wicked world, so.
But let's
some people laugh at you.
Let's make tracks.
They think differently about you.
Yeah.
You know.
So you have to be careful, because some people laugh in your face, like you're saying, but they don't mean you well. They'll stab you in the back.
Let me tell you, all of that. You see, no matter. You see, security. If you want to talk about security, Eric is somebody that doesn't joke with his security. Eric is very.
So we were told. So how?
Even when you go and see the residence, his villa where he lives, he built the place, taking serious security measures in place.
We're even told, Rafik tells me that even the vehicle, when you drive to where he stays, his residence, right, which is also within the area, you can't enter with your own vehicle, so you have to get into his vehicle to enter. And you know that we've also been told that the person actually got away in his own vehicle.
Yeah,
got through the gates.
That is how they made
the exit.
They exited, because they couldn't have come out. So
because you only go in and out with his car.
They used a man's vehicle to mean that it was a man that was going out. So the security opened the gate straight away. Because anytime he's parked his car, then they open the gate. And the residence and the gate is quite a distance. But once he parked the car, they opened the gate. So that is how they exited. So they used his car to exit the place, went and parked the car somewhere, and then bolted. So that is the story.
May he find peace, and may the police nab this person or the perpetrators of this act, and maybe those who planned it. That is, if there are others in there. If you've heard us elaborate on this, spend so much time on it, it's because it's so gruesome, it's so heartbreaking. Imagine, you know, an Elon Musk or a Mark Zuckerberg or a Warren Buffett going, you know, people would, in the business community, the ripple effects. That's what you're seeing with.
That's what you're seeing. Likes of
Eric
Dangote and all of that.
It's really sad. Here. Okay, so moving on from there, let's talk about some other pertinent matters. Let's start with the reshuffle. I'll come to you definitely first. Ken is gone. But some say with his new position, advisory position and all of that, Ken has not been downgraded. He's not been demoted. In fact, he has been upgraded. He has been promoted. And then you can talk about the Greater Accra Regional Minister, who is now headed for the Interior Ministry, Dakwa Newman, who is now Gender, Children and Social Protection candidate for that ministry. You can talk about Lydia Sairam Al-Hassan, Member of Parliament for Ayawaso, West Wuogon, going into sanitation and water resources. Charlie, right now, that thing you make like you lose your parliamentary way. Hey, you're stepping aside. I'm sure if you had a ministerial or deputy ministerial role, maybe they would have touched you, but at least you are safe for now. Lydia taking over from Frida Prempe, Dr. Bernard Okoboy for health taking over from Kweku Ajimamenu. We heard that some of the people, honestly, too, were tired. They had served for close to 8 years, health issues and all of that. Some of them felt it was time to move on. But what would be your immediate reaction to the reshuffle before we maybe pick apart a few specific incidents, including Ken? But you started. You wanted Ken to go. Ken go.
Well,
are you happy now?
Like I said, I wanted it then, you know, but you know, I
You didn't want it now?
Well,
what changed?
So let me start off. I think better late than never with reshuffle. Better late than never.
Granted, 8 or 9 months to the election.
Granted, the impact may not be as monumental if it had come much earlier, but better late than never. I am happy about the fact that there's a new sort of zeal going to these ministries. There's also the outlook for people that this is a breath of fresh air of some sort to the ministries where they'll be serving. And I think that some change is important in government. And I think that...
You realize it's 1.5 years after you actually started calling for Ken's removal, right? 1.5 years.
You seem to want to dwell on finance minister.
And no, I'm only saying that you say better late than never. Senior, it is 8 months or so to the elections. Let me just re-echo for you, and I know you have your own thoughts. Dr. John Osei-Kwapong, Mary Ada, Professor Seidu Alidu of the Political Science Department, University of Ghana. He taught me briefly at a point. Dr. Kojo Pumpuni Asante, CDD. All of them say, and they resonate exactly how I'm thinking, 2 points, that why now? At this point, anything that would have been done has been done. They've signed the contracts. They've planned the budget, everything that could be done in any of these ministries. You are under an IMF program. There are strict regulations. What else? I mean, new face, same old, you know. And then what possible difference will it make at this time? Maybe those are things you could consider as you respond.
Well, I will take it that in principle, everything is under sort of a lock and key at the moment. We're on autopilot till December, but I also believe that people make a difference, regardless. And I'm of the view that administratively, some directives will change because of the people at the helm of affairs. And I can cite even the likes of our new finance minister. I think that his temperament will be different from the former finance minister. I think that his view on certain things might change the direction. I mean, listen, I remember Alan Greenspan when he coughs interest rate changes.
Yeah,
and for
it's
that
interesting you bring up his name.
Yes, for that reason, the likes of Dr. Amin, his temperament can sway investors to either bring in more or not. And I must add that I've always been of the opinion that in bankruptcy, your exchequer needs to be moved. And there are many investors who may hold that to be true. And in of itself may trigger more people to now come help Ghana. I mean, maintaining our former finance minister also cost the country a bit, from an investment standpoint. And that is a fact. Because some people in the investment community were of the opinion that he had to go. So moving forward, I think that in as much as it's 8 months, in the investor world or banking world, some people might have a feel of now coming home to do more for Ghana. And that alone can trigger some growth in this country and also maybe influence inflows from various portions of the world in terms of remittance to this country. And I can also make a case that Dr. Amin will be a man of his own. In the sense
and Ken wasn't a man of his own?
No, what I mean is that he's also going to define finance ministry in a certain path. I mean, when department heads change, everybody comes with something new, something different, and that would impact Ghana's finance. It doesn't take a long period to make some monumental shifts, especially when it comes to finance. For instance, I can be very clear with one thing. Somebody may have preferred KPMG for auditing services. Somebody might want Bain and Company. So even the consulting firms that Dr. Amin might use might be different. And these matter. So I believe that the change, though might be late in the game, still can make some differences.
Ken Ofori-Atta has been given new roles, which some feel is an upgrade, a promotion, in fact, supervisory roles and all of that, which for some is a slap in the face. looking at where he took us, we are in the worst economic crisis in a generation. The worst economic crisis in a whole generation. And these are not my words. These are words that the Reuters and the others are talking about. These are things that the economists have said. Inflation hit over 50%, record highs and all of that. And people felt that even if he was to go, it was about the signaling, even if cosmetic. But now, with the supervisory and other roles that he's purported to be playing directly, it makes him even more powerful. And people are wondering what is the rationale behind it.
I'm of a different view. I really think that per the constitution that we have, the rights and privileges of the finance minister is what matters to Ghanaians, and that.
But that could be exactly the point.
That
Ghanaians focus on the finance minister, but this other role, people will not focus so much on Ken Ofori-Atta, but actually that makes him more powerful.
I think that the constitution we have does not necessarily empower that role over the finance minister. And I really think that distinction has to be made. Clearly, going by the constitution, the finance minister, the new finance minister, is very empowered. He has his mandate when he's confirmed, and let me be very clear to Ghanaians that he'll be able to function in that capacity fully, as expected as a finance minister. And kudos to Ken for his new role. But I really think that as Ghanaians, let's not make much of his new role. Our focus should remain.
Why shouldn't we?
No, I really think that it has some impact on us as a nation, but not in the capacity of a finance.
All right, hold for me. I'll come to the others. I want Cletus to share with me, saying on Ken Ofori-Atta, 7 years and about 2 months at post, and now finally, I mean, your end of parliament, you wanted him out a long time ago. Now he's going. I just want us to focus a bit on the finance ministry. He's gone, but some say to a better place. What do you make of it?
Well, I let me say that the president lost an opportunity to carry the Ghanaians along. Many Ghanaians, there have been calls for President Nana Addo to do reshuffle or to reshuffle his government, and he has come out in many occasions to say that he will not do it. No one can put pressure on him to reshuffle his government. He believed that the team that he was working with was the rightful team, or it was the team that could help propel Ghana's economy. But Ghanaians have been struggling and suffering, and governance has not been good the way people expected, and people believe that the president should have done reshuffle long ago. So if you look at what he did few days ago by way of reshuffle, even many people are not too happy about the reshuffle, except probably those who are benefiting by way of...
Those who have got roles.
Yes,
right.
Who have got roles to play. Otherwise, like you said, 2024 budget has been presented. So none of them can go back and change anything within the ministry. So you are just going to be a ceremonial minister, a ceremonial whatever, because everything that was supposed to be done has been done by the former ministers. So you are just going to be ceremonial ministers. And for
ceremonial ministers.
Yeah, ceremonial, because you cannot do much. You cannot do much, you understand. Some of them who are going to be vetted, they will be vetted, and some will be, maybe they will be starting work somewhere ending of March, maybe April. You go to probably do some orientation to get familiar.
So probably they even have maybe about 4 or 5 months of any work.
They are now going to go through some orientation, how to get familiar with the ministry, ministerial
on average,
job.
It takes 6 months to
integrate,
to be able to settle, to take off.
But I think that's actually long. Our system, it's
so for
2 months,
for me,
and even less, you should be able to do that. That's already a gap in
for
our system.
me and many others, our thinking is that the economy has already been destroyed. These people cannot salvage it. What President Nana Addo even many are, if you check, I heard Freddie Blay, the former chairman, he said it's too late.
Yeah,
it's too late.
That actually took me aback.
Yeah,
Freddie wasn't who blamed.
He was, yes, but
it's too late.
He was being
it's
frank.
confirmed.
It's confirmed.
Well,
he said it.
So
he said it.
EIB network.
Yes, he said it.
I saw that on.
He said it. He said it.
I was a bit surprised.
He said it. He said that it's too late.
You heard it.
Yeah, it's too late.
Yourself.
It's too late for a reshuffle. That's what he said.
Right.
You understand?
Wow.
The likes of, Imani Ghana's president Franklin Kujo, all of them have their reservation. Think tanks and well-meaning Ghanaians have their reservation about this reshuffle. But what the president missed was the opportunity to reduce the size of
and I was just about to get to that.
The president missed the opportunity, and especially the flag bearer of the MPP, who is part of this team. And he is now promising us 50 ministers when he is elected. But you see, he's been part of the system.
When he said 50 ministers, the smile on Dr. Adomako Kissi's face painted a certain picture. I saw a smile on your face. Why were you smiling?
50 ministers. That's what Dr. Bawumia is promising us. Meanwhile, Dr. Bawumia and his boss, they did the reshuffle few days ago, and Dr. Bawumia could have started, he and his boss, they could have realigned.
Bring, that in.
Oh, so you mean that the vice president has no hands in anything in this government? That is the problem.
In fact, some have even said that this reshuffle is Dr. Bawumia's reshuffle. In other words, the overhang of Ken Oforiatta and everything going into the elections. Yeah. Let's have a switch. Let's have that. Is that your thinking as well?
Yes, that's Dr. Bawumia's reshuffle. That is not my thinking. The way you heard it, that's the thinking of many Ghanaians. That's the thinking of many Ghanaians. That this reshuffle is about Dr. Bawumia. It's about bringing certain people that will come and support Dr. Bawumia to win as president or in the 2024 elections. But that will not happen, though. It will not happen because this is just a team of people, the old team that have been recycled. And I believe that many of them even, though they will be called ministers, but they should not be clapping. I know some of them that are not happy. Some of them that are not happy because if you look at the Minister for Interior, this a man.
You mean the substantive one?
No, Ambrose, the one that has been ousted. A Minister of Interior.
So you're speaking of Ambrose Derrick.
Yes, you remove him. I mean, if I were my uncle Ambrose, with the greatest of respect, I would decline such appointment. For this totally demotion, they've reduced him to nothing. This is a man who made MPP popular in the Nandom constituency.
Why do you feel he's been reduced to nothing?
Yeah, he's reduced to nothing. Why? You remove me from a bigger job to a lower one.
It's not lower.
It's lower.
Why is it? Why is it lower?
It's lower. No, Minister of State, the cabinet minister,
right.
Cabinet minister, you reduce him to nothing, no portfolio.
No, it's not a no portfolio thing. He has a portfolio.
It doesn't have.
He has a portfolio. I can agree with you on his demotion because Interior Minister, Cabinet Minister.
Look, there is no portfolio. Minister of State, you have no portfolio. You have no defined job. Minister of State at the presidency,
no, but I think at his age, he might want to be adversarial.
And I didn't mention, I did mention that some of them wanted to slow down.
Then let me tell you, if by what my brother is saying, listen, if by what my brother is saying, then he should have as well just resign.
No, he has a lot of knowledge.
It's about age and all of that. That if it's about age, then he should have as well just resign.
He has a lot of knowledge.
But let me come to the point that I am making.
Okay, so land on that point.
The president had the opportunity to realign or measure some of the ministers because that is the call from many Ghanaians. Ghanaians are saying that your government has been too large since you came into office. Your first term, you appointed over 123 ministers. As currently, you are dealing with 89 to 90 ministers. Ghanaians are saying that, look, under the current regime, economic crisis that we are, you are imposing new taxes. You want Ghanaians to pay so much, yet you always have the opportunity to reduce the size of your government, yet you will not do it. And you think that the poor Ghanaians should continuously funding these ministers. Right. That is not the way to go. This is not what a listening president or a listening party should be doing. Ghanaians had confidence in President Nana Addo. He campaigned at the backdrop of taxes, corruption, everything. So Ghanaians had hope in him, he and Dr. Bawumia. Dr. Bawumia was all over the place, touted himself as the economic messiah. He held lectures, talked about what he can do to make Ghana's economy better. All of that. I work in the Bank of Ghana when I became vice president, and eventually Ghanaians gave them the opportunity. He headed the economic management team. Today, Dr. Bawumia is running away from every responsibility in this government. Every responsibility. So, and that is not what a leader should do. A leader, first and foremost, must accept responsibility. That is why Ghanaians, when we had Dumso, Ghanaians said it was President Mahama. Meanwhile, everybody knew Dumso was an inherited calamity or inherited, something that President Mahama inherited. Yet President Mahama said, yes, it became worse under my regime. He took responsibility, brought in badges, power badges. And
he was voted out for that.
Yes. And
so is that why? Just to make
but currently, let me land. President Nanado and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, they do not want to accept anything untoward that has happened under their regime. The president will run away from it. Dr. Bawumia is saying he's not part. So who has committed all the atrocities? Who has plunged this country into this state? Okay. Who has done it?
So they are the people.
Dynamics. They don't want to accept responsibility.
As for
that is not how a leader should be.
The reshuffle has happened. Is there any other name? I mean, I have shared my sentiments already on Dr. Bernard Okoboy. I personally like him, and I think he'll do a fantastic job at the health ministry. Him over, and I may be passionate, him over Kweku Agyeman-Manu. Any day for me, personally.
I think that is a huge plus to the medical fraternity.
Right.
And I believe that he has experience as a former deputy minister for health.
Exactly.
Ministry. So
he's been with the NHIA.
And he's been with the insurance and he is a health man.
Yeah.
And I think that it will mean well for Ghanaians, and that is one clear case where policies and direction of the ministry will be impacted within the next foreseeable few months, and it'll be almost day and night in terms of how Ministry of Health will be run, and I think that these are where you can see that some impact will be made, and I can assure you, I think that Dr. Okoboy will be fantastic. Ghanaians love him, and I believe that his further engagement with Ghanaians will bring more people closer to Ministry of Health.
There's Fatima to Abubakar information elevated from deputy. I'm happy about that. More women in. I'm always happy about that.
Absolutely. And then let me also add that
Seyram as well. Lydia Seyram,
fantastic. I mean, she's
just quickly. I want us to.
Granted, we'll miss her. As a deputy chief whip, she's been fantastic, and. It encourages me to also go work with her in her constituency.
You said you would support some, and you said she was like is it a mother or sister?
She's mother, sister, everything.
All right.
And yesterday she gave out chocolates, fantastic. I really enjoyed them. So thanks to her, and I really think that. Let me use this opportunity to talk to her
briefly.
That they stand to benefit more from her if they maintain her in the 2020.
But you can bet your socks on the fact that John Dumelo is going to give her a hell of a time, especially considering what happened the last time. And even this may take her eye off. Some say take her eye off the business in her constituency a bit.
No, this rather should encourage the constituency to know that she's going to bring more home.
Okay, all right. So
that should be looked at carefully.
Cletus, let's get into the bit. Your end in Parliament, you feel Dr. Bawumia has nothing to offer?
Nothing.
Why?
Absolutely nothing.
Why? I want us to quickly look at
this. Yes, nothing because, look, the man is the chairman of the economic management team.
He's a member of the team.
He's a chairman.
The chairman bit is convention.
He's a chairman. It's not conventional. He is a chairman. And he himself, you heard him mention the names of the economic management team of the NPP. And said that where is the NDC, or who were the NDC economic management team members?
As for that one, you can say he shot himself in the foot.
Yes, he did. He did. You see, let me tell you something. All that today, I don't know why we are changing the narration. You see, all the things that Dr. Bawumia criticized when he was in opposition, in today, and today he's in government. He is doing the opposite. And when people talk, then he's trying to change the goalposts. But we are not gullible. We are educated. Ghanaians, we reason, we think. We don't forget. Though people say that Ghanaians easily forget. That is not the case. It is because...
But who said that? Who said Ghanaians easily forget?
Oh, don't do that type of politics. What I'm just trying to say is that, look, Dr. Bawumia has nothing to offer Ghanaians. He's been part of the system. He even misled Nana Addo. He took us and gave us inflation of 54%, unprecedented in the history of the Fourth Republic. He did that, 54% inflation under the economic messiah. Dollar went to even 18 Ghana cedis, 15 Ghana cedis under Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Fuel prices was skyrocketing under Vice President, now flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So what has he done? GDP is ranging between 100%, 103% under Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. President Nana Addo said that, I am picking Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia because of his economic prowess. He's the one that I will be entrusted with the economy. He's the one that will make sure that jobs will be created. We will record good economic indicators so that Ghana will be better for all of us. That is what President Nana Addo said in his 2018 State of the Nation address. So he gave him all the responsibility. And Dr. Bawumia himself said that he's been given the opportunity to work as vice president. He has said that. So today, all the minuses in this government, Dr. Bawumia is running away from the minuses. And the positives, he wants to take.
So that's
take the positives.
That's a point to be made.
You know,
he said
he's a driver's mate.
Right.
He said he's a driver's mate.
He says he wants to be driver.
He wants to be a driver.
But for me, Cletus,
so if I can come in.
No, so I want you to come in from this point. Yes, a driver's mate. And interesting analogy, though. But honestly, does Dr. Bawumia have anything new, really, to offer the Ghanaian population?
I want to be very succinct in this.
Please be.
What is very clear to me now is that I believe what Dr. Bawumia said, in the sense that not all his recommendations have been agreed upon by the current cabinet. And I think that even today, what is obvious is that if his recommendation of reducing government size had been listened to, I'm very sure that the executive would have maybe reduced the government size during this reshuffle. So this is even a strong case to show that not all of Bawumia's recommendations have been adhered to. And I believe that when he's at the helm of affairs and when he has the full authority and full mandate by Ghanaians, his thinking, what he desires.
I asked you a question, Doc. After all that we've seen of Dr. Bawumia for 80 years,
yes.
What else is new that Dr. Bawumia is bringing?
The thing is that the economic principles that he holds dear still are dear to him. And what has become very clear in the last foreseeable days is that his recommendations, the things that he believes would impact Ghana and reduce our indebtedness, reduce our inflation rate, reduce our interest rates, have not all been adhered to. And I believe that when given a chance, and I believe that...
So that's the change
he's much...
We don't have time to go back and forth.
He's much capable
nodding vehemently
to handle this country than the alternative.
Let me ask my brother a question.
I believe that...
Dr. Bawumia has not come out to tell Ghanaians that I tabled A, B, C, D suggestions and they did not take.
No, what is clear?
He hasn't said that.
What is clear today?
All that you are saying is that, no, you are conjuring. Doc, you are conjuring. You are conjuring because the man is part of, he's the number 2 gentleman of the land.
The man, he will scrap. He said that he will bring 50 people to run this country.
Dr. Bawumia we heard Kojo Opo Nkrumah saying that Dr. Bawumia drafted the e-levy bill.
He supported.
Do you understand? He supported it. So why did he support it?
Not all his recommendations.
Why did he support it? He hasn't come out to say.
But he says he'll take it off now.
Even with that, President Mahama and the NDC,
let me moderate this, please.
You know how we fought it. President Mahama is saying that he will take it off way back. President Mahama has delivered his speech
I am moderating this.
I know.
I get it. Former President Mahama said he will also take it.
Yeah, long ago.
Now Bawumia says, "Miana mekai enso meboa or miana mekai enso my sign, my chain sign." It's okay.
But
he says he's taking off the betting tax.
His recommendations
he's taking off
have not been adhered to.
the VAT 15% on emissions if it is excellent. One thing though that is interesting is that, and I don't want any deliberation on this. We'll just move to the final point and wrap. Okwejatua Blakwa Samuel, your colleague, member of parliament for North Hill, came here and he said, and I don't know what picture that will paint for Dr. Bawumia, because he says, since Dr. Bawumia says he wants to take away these taxes, your end, you're going to move forward with a private member's bill in parliament to,
to
push,
stop it.
Push the vice president to take away the tax. He says he will take them away, right? So they are going to push in parliament to test. You want to take them away. And then we'll see whether the vice president means what he's saying or not. And they say they are going to do this as early as next week, if I'm correct. That's what Samuel Okwejatua Blakwa said. I want to see that in parliament and see how the vice president reacts. But the final point I want us to look at.
Sam should know that he doesn't, let me be very categorical here. The vice president is not empowered by the constitution to have those powers to, at this point.
Well, if the political will is there, he painted certain dynamics. So they'll proffer it and see what he will do as far as that
will the majority
concerned.
also agree? Well, that's another question.
All right.
If the vice president, who is the number 2 gentleman of this country, if his words cannot be taken, if his advice cannot be taken, then who are ministers? How will anybody take the consideration of any minister? No minister's wish or thinking will be considered. You understand? I'm saying that ministers even take responsibility. Ministers implement government policies and take responsibility. So Dr. Bawumia, as chairman of economic management team, cannot be running away from his own words, his own responsibility.
He's done
that. That is what so far. That is what he has done to himself. That's how he injured himself in his lecture, the lecture he is giving.
No, you understand that your recommendations are not adhered to. It's different.
And okay, so I just we have to go.
Surprisingly,
no dwelling. As for Dr. Bawumia,
surprisingly, he has never even come out to tell us that my suggestions have never been taken. No, he wants to once again in 20.
I mean, let's face it. That situation, that position is very untenable.
Will not get away with
Cletus, we have to go, but I just want us to do this. I hear that you put a bounty on the head of, the person who had committed the crime against Eric, and that anyone coming through with information or some other details would get 100,000 cedis. I just want clarity on that. And
yes, that is exactly what
just to wrap up the conversation.
That's exactly what I said. It's coming from me, but the money is not money that Cletus is going to raise himself.
So where's the money coming from?
Oh, a friend of mine wants to provide such money. I don't have that kind of money, but I'm the one that will collect that money and hand over to whoever that will aid us by way of information, credible information,
leading to the
arrest of the perpetrators, those that murdered our
So who
brother.
is this person, coughing up the money?
Well, it's anonymous. It's a friend. It's a friend, a businessman. They have the money.
So it's 100,000 Ghana cedis.
It's 100,000 Ghana cedis. So people should try. Anybody who wants to get cool 100,000 Ghana cedis should give concrete information, concrete evidence to the police, the law enforcement agencies for us to arrest the perpetrators.
All right. Gentlemen, we're going to have to sew it up here. We're very grateful for your time. Dr.
Doug didn't
Dixon,
comment about
Adomako,
Eric's demise. I wanted you
but I think it's obvious what his thinking would be. I think at a point we mentioned that you wouldn't even wish that on your worst enemy. Dr. Dixon Adomako Kissi is member of parliament for Anyaso Wutuom. We also had Cletus Dapela, member of parliament for...
He's my vice chairman. I'm a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee.
You mentioned...
My vice chairman. I wanted him to be ranking in the next parliament because they will be in opposition. So I wanted him to still come to parliament so that he will be the ranking. Because we will be chairing the various committees in 2025.
Samuel Okwejatua Blakwa says he thinks the NDC will get 180 seats in parliament. How many do you think?
I support him because
No, so you think 180?
Yeah, we will get.
That would leave your end with 95.
We will control parliament. We will control parliament. We are going to have majority.
I hope you're not counting.
Support President Mohammed.
You're not counting your chicks before they are hatched.
Not at all.
Thank you, gentlemen, for joining the conversation. Up next, we stay on the political terrain because there's a candidate, a presidential candidate. One may even wonder, why now? Why do you want to be president? But he is called George Chumberuma Edu, and he says he wants to break the two. He wants to do away with the MPP and the NDC and come through with a system that will actually take Ghana to the next level. That conversation is up next on AM Exclusive after the break. Do stay.